Greetings, WeisApple. I was going to start typing out more messages, but I thought it would be a little more efficient doing a video. So the topic of objectifying women is something that I've taken a fairly big interest into, especially because it's something that I've come across. Now, I've studied a lot of different things when it comes to human behavior. It's something of a very serious side hobby that I've taken quite an interest in for many years. I was involved in the pickup community for a while, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of different things. Like I know there's a bad image of what the pickup community is, but it helps a lot of guys to really overcome a lot of bullshit programming they've been put through. And one of the things it did for me is it showed me just how much a guy has to go through to attract a woman in today's society. How many hoops you have to jump through, how many times you have to bend over backwards, and I ain't interested in it anymore. But regardless, I have a wide understanding of many different subjects when it comes to this. So, when it comes to objectifying women, what a lot of people think is that it's, especially with feminists, they think it's societal. They think that people come out of the womb a blank slate and it's only societal. It's astounding to me when I read some books from these feminists, how they can't understand why their sons want to play with Barbie dolls by ripping their heads off, and why the girls, if you give them G.I. Joes, they play house with them. They think it's instantly some sort of diabolical scheme from society. When the reality is, we have millions, if not billions of years of evolutionary programming on board. And there's nothing you can do to get rid of that. The best you can hope for is that you become aware of it and you can overcome it in moments where it matters. You can basically suppress it for a time, but it will always, always, always come back. So when it comes to objectifying women, here's what men want. I mentioned in my post that the number one thing that guys look for in pornography is eye contact. That was a pretty big shocker to me when I had discovered that one. I figured it would be something visual, like something to do with her body or something like that. No, it wasn't that at all. It's what guys want is a positive experience with the woman. And I sort of pieced together why this happens. It has a lot to deal with women, with how they function when it comes to sex. So I'll give you the pieces and then I'll piece the puzzle together. Take your hand and hold out the fingers together like you're about to karate chop somebody. And I want you to look at the difference in size between your pointer finger and your ring finger, your third finger. Which one is longer? Now, for guys, it's generally your third finger. For girls, it's the opposite. The difference in the length of these two fingers, with the with the ring finger being the dominant one, is the amount of testosterone you were subjected to in the womb. So the longer your ring finger, the more testosterone you had in the womb. I was watching a documentary on women's sexuality, and they had these two very interesting experiments. So one of them, there were 10 girls, 10 guys. The girls never got to see the guys. They had a blanket, a sheet, across this room with a hole cut in it, and the women would stick their arm through, and one by one, in random order, the guys would come by and shake the girl's hand. And based on that handshake, they picked the number of the guy they would want. So the girls are laughing and giggling, and they thought it was the handshake, the firmer the handshake. That was definitely it. Had nothing to do with that, but that's what they're rationalizing that it actually was. The next experiment was they took a black and white photocopy of their outstretched hand, and they laid 10 photocopies out on a table, and one by one the women would come by, and they were laughing and giggling, and they would look at the photocopies, and they would pick the one that they felt was most attractive. So here's the deal. In the first experiment, 9 of the women picked the exact same guy. In the second experiment, 9 of the women picked the exact same guy from the first experiment. The only difference was, in the second experiment, one of the women was different. So it wasn't the same 9 in each, but it was still 9. That's crazy when you think about it, because we've been led to believe that we're these rational, thinking human beings. The reality is, we are more often than not led by our unconscious and subconscious thoughts. They say you only use 10% of your brain. It's horseshit. You use 100%. You're only aware of 10%. The unconscious, the subconscious, is so powerful, and we don't understand it yet. We're starting to. It's only within the last 30 years, I would say the last 10 to 15 years, that we're starting to really understand it. So, again, back to women. A woman finds a guy who is attractive. Actually, let's back it up even more. Go back into caveman days. So, we have a time, we don't have a spoken language, and you have the alpha male of the tribe and his group of buddies, and they have these women that they have sex with. If you look at sperm up close, you will see some of them have deformed heads and broken tails. What we've discovered is those aren't deformed heads and they're not broken tails. They're designed that way. And the purpose of those sperm is to fight other sperm. A woman, her body is designed to have multiple men's sperm inside her at any given time. This increases her chances of having the strongest sperm impregnate her. Now, before anybody goes bonkers and says, I've never been in an orgy, we have millions of years of evolutionary programming. It doesn't matter what you want consciously, it's what your body is designed to do. Now, you can overcome that by understanding it. A lot of times we have these societal pressures which stop people from behaving in certain ways. But I know more than a couple girls who, based on the looks of a guy, not necessarily his attractiveness level, but based on these testosterone markers that she sees, she'll hook up with a guy in a bathroom, out in an alleyway behind a dumpster. And it's not rare. There's a lot of times this happens. So when a woman meets one of these guys, what ends up happening is she actually has orgasms easier. She starts to focus on this guy. She starts to think about this guy all the time. It's her body telling her, you have to get pregnant by this guy now. You have to have a baby with him. Women go through life wanting 2 things. First, they want the lover. This provides them with strong, healthy, beautiful children, which increases her chances of continuing her genetic line. She then wants the provider and protector. Very often, they're not the same guy. So she finds the guy she's attracted to. She will chase him. She will offer herself to him. We see this in studies where it shows that when women are ovulating, they dress quote-unquote sluttier. They're more apt to attract or try to attract guys. Girls who cheat, they are more likely to withhold sex from their partner during that time of the month. And that's the time of the month they will go cheat on their partner. That's how powerful it is. It's subconscious. They don't even realize they're doing it. They will backwards rationalize to try and justify why they did it. But the reality is, it's her body saying, get pregnant by this guy now. You have to do this. It's one reason why as women get older, they get more sexually aggressive. Because it's their body trying to compensate for the fact that they're getting older, so they have sex more, trying to have more babies. Again, unconscious, irrational urges and desires. That's all they are. So we have these emotional bursts of energy, so to speak, and it causes people to do things. Now, when a woman has an orgasm, this is going to get a little gross. If you see inside her body, her cervix comes down and presses against the back wall of the vagina. The reason for this is because it does like a scooping motion. It pulls sperm deeper inside of her. So the more orgasms she has, the more likely she is to get pregnant. This is something guys have hardwired into their brains. So when a woman is having orgasms, it actually makes a guy feel fantastic. It's because his brain is going, great, she's going to get pregnant. Her body is accepting mine. I'm sure you've heard of couples who they've been together for so long and they've been trying to have kids and they just can't, and they try fertilization techniques and nothing works, and then they break up and they're with new partners and instantly they get pregnant. It's because their bodies went, no, it's not happening. We are not genetic matches. This is not going to work out. But then they get to the new partner and they go, yep, this is the one. Time to get pregnant. That's how powerful the brain is. One of the things they're showing now is that your brain has actually made a decision 3 to 5 seconds before you're even aware of it. So, one example I like to use is McDonald's. You go to McDonald's, you're sitting there looking at the menu. Oh, I have no idea what I want. There's so many choices. Meanwhile, your brain has went, you're getting a Big Mac. And you're going to like it. It's got a lot of energy, and I want that. So your brain releases feel-good chemicals attached with emotions, attached with memories. It starts bringing up the times you were there with some friends, with some family, you had a really good time. You start feeling good, and suddenly you go, I want a Big Mac. And you think you rationally made that decision, when in reality, it was your subconscious brain going, you're getting a Big Mac, and you're going to like it, and you're going to eat it. And you go, oh, I got a Big Mac, and I made that decision myself. Really, you should have said, I'm not getting any McDonald's at all. I'm going to go eat something healthy. So, when a woman chases a guy, that's when he feels validated, is the best way I can put it. It's because it's a guy's body reacting to what this woman wants. So, when I say a guy wants a positive sexual experience, I will sort of clarify that. Most married men I know, they will jokingly say, wedding cake is how you kill a woman's libido. But they say it jokingly because if they actually say it, they will offend their wife, and it means instead of getting laid twice a year, they're getting laid once every other year. That is not a positive sexual experience. I broke up with a girl who never ever initiated sex with me. Now some people might say, well, that's mean. No, it's not. If you want to have a good relationship with somebody, a guy should not have to beg for sex. People get really bent out of shape when you suggest that it's quote-unquote a woman's duty to take care of her man. But if you look at third world countries, not necessarily third world, let's say a place like Brazil, that's a very common mentality that the women have. If I don't take care of my man, somebody else will. But in Western societies, we say, screw you men, you're pigs, you're scum, how dare you want sex with women. You're just lucky enough that we're even part of your life. So these guys internalize it. You see it in these videos. Why do guys need men's rights? Well, we have feminism. They have a safe place they can come and discuss their issues. Well, then guys start discussing their issues, and you get women like Big Red. Shut the fuck up! Shut up! Dr. William Farrell, he even said that. That's one of the realizations he came to, where he was doing these talks saying, guys, you need to start speaking up. You need to start saying things that are bothering you. And then they would say things that are bothering them, and they would say, guys, shut up. Well, these are things that are bothering guys. And guys don't talk about it. Now, this is something that I've become aware of, and I openly try and talk about it as much as I can with friends and guys I meet, and I try and make it as comfortable and as knowledgeable as possible, that guys don't feel weird talking about it anymore. But this is stuff women will just blah, 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 blah. He said this and she did that. But guys, they don't, because they've been beat down so much that we feel like we're not allowed to talk about it. How dare you be attracted to a woman? How dare you think she's sexy? You're objectifying her. Well, guys who aren't necessarily the most confident are going to go, oh, okay, I guess I'm a scumbag. This thing I feel must be dirty. Even though she's been dressing up to attract men, I must clearly be in the wrong. So we turn men on by advertising, by the way women dress, by movies, by media, and then we punish men in the next breath for being turned on when that's what our intention was. Oftentimes it comes down to another experiment that they did. They put 200 people in a room, 100 men, 100 women. 80% of the women only interacted with 10% of the men. This was done over and over and over again, and the exact same thing happening each time. So it's women looking for those alpha males. Again, they think they're being rational. They think they're being consciously aware of the situation they're in. And you have 10% of the guys getting all the action. What do you think the other 90% are doing? Then they go to a strip club because they're miserable. They have no idea how to talk to women. And now they're scumbags because they wanted some attention from a woman. The best strippers you will ever come across are the ones that understand that guys go to strip clubs not because they're happy, because they're sad, and because their lives suck. And for one night a week, after they've worked their ass off for some unappreciative harpy, they get to have some woman who will fictitiously pay some attention to them and make them feel special. But men are the scumbags.